Amigos de Aldea Financiera, bienvenidos a esta edición del programa. Estamos muy contentos porque hoy tenemos una gran entrevista. Estamos transmitiendo desde el Hotel Secrets en Puerto Vallarta en el marco de la convención número 28 de Canieti. Y nos acompaña un conferencista extraordinario. Hace un momento vi su conferencia, nos habló sobre capitalismo consciente y él es Curtis Hite. Él es CEO de Improving, una compañía que se dedica justamente a dar asesoría y entender cómo mejorar el mundo. Nos va a hablar un poquito de eso. Es un CEO muy reconocido en los Estados Unidos, ha tenido diversos reconocimientos durante su vida y es una persona que se la pasa promoviendo este tema del capitalismo consciente. Curtis, welcome to Aldea Financiera. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
I would like to start, if it's okay with you, if you tell us a little something of who is Curtis Hite, how your professional life started, something a little bit about you.
All right, well, I'm a single father. I have two kids, a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and family is very, very important to me, so I find ways of integrating them with my business and personal life, kind of combining together. Very proud of that. I'm from the United States, Dallas, Texas, and I am a serial entrepreneur.
Improving your company. Can you tell us a little bit of what is Improving, what is the purpose of your company?
Absolutely. So our business builds software systems for other companies. We are a provider of software engineering services, consulting and training for other businesses that have technology products that they want built. And that's effectively what we do. We started in 2007. And since then, we've grown every single year, and we're roughly 300 million in revenues today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you speak a lot of conscious capitalism. Can you tell us what is that and how important it is for companies to understand it?
Yeah, so conscious capitalism, I believe, is very important, not only for business, but for our society as a whole. Capitalism has done some great things in this world, and it provides tremendous benefits to communities, to countries, and right now, in some groups of people, it's fallen out of favor. And what conscious capitalism is trying to do is elevate the importance and the success stories of capitalism itself, so that we can build upon the great things that businesses do each and every day and then take them to the next level. How do we elevate humanity in ways perhaps that we haven't thought of or done previously with businesses?
And is that profitable for business? Be conscious of what they are doing and how they are making business with humanity, or what the business model, how important it is to be conscious?
When you look at the performance of businesses that follow these tenets, and you can find this in Conscious Capitalism Field Guide, or you can find it in Firms of Endearment, you will find that they far outperform the S&P by maybe 4 to 6 times actually over an extended period of time. So the returns really is quite beneficial to companies. But one of the key, I think, differences between conscious capitalism and maybe stakeholder capitalism, which often get confused, is stakeholder capitalism is based on governance and requiring businesses. When it comes to conscious capitalism, it's more of within. It's a philosophy, a management approach, and really trying to inspire people versus requiring organizations to do things. And when you find businesses that actually internalize this in non-polarizing ways, the results are tremendous.
How a company can start being a conscious capitalism company? What is the first step?
I would say start small. There's a book on this. The organization was founded largely in the efforts of John Mackey, who is the founder of Whole Foods.
Okay.
Still very active today in the community, but there are 4 tenets. and start small, choose one or two of these tenets and do something small within your organization. Then choose another one and small. And over time, we've been committed to this for more than 14 years. It eventually becomes very pervasive inside the organization. It's throughout our organization at this point. It is one of our fundamental aspects of our business.
How often, when I hear your conference, you were saying that people that doesn't like conscious capitalism, if it's not part of the culture, it's very hard for them to be in a company that is conscious. What can you say about it?
Well, we're unapologetically capitalists. Now, we don't aspire to some of the negative, what I call the shadows of classic capitalism, right? Too much greed or over focus on a single stakeholder like the shareholder. But I really think that when you take the good of classic capitalism, the fact that you are creating value for customers, creating value for your shareholders, which is good.
It's good, yes.
But one of the things that is socially overlooked far too often is the jobs that are being provided, and those jobs elevate people. And that is the simple act of providing jobs is a social benefit of organizations. But within the conscious capitalism community, we don't believe that it has to stop there. What other good can businesses do?
Correct.
Right, yeah.
You have been recognized many times as a very important leader. What it takes to be a good leader, a good CEO, what are your thoughts about it?
So, one of the tenets of conscious capitalism is conscious leadership, and there is no single definition of what that means, but what we found is there are a certain set of traits that many of the leaders in this type of organization and that are leading companies share. And I'm going to start with, from a business perspective, their longer term thinking. Are we thinking month to month, quarter to quarter? Are we thinking 3 years out or 10 years out? And that seems to be a common characteristic. When it comes to more personal characteristics of leaders, the first is a pretty deep self-awareness and taking time, deliberate practices to understand yourself more. And the key importance of that is it develops empathy in other people. So you can actually, if you understand yourself better, you understand sometimes the other people. And the end objective is building trust. And whether we're building trusts with groups of people or individuals one-on-one, that is the single biggest trait that I think contributes to a leader's success.
That's very important. When in your conference also, you also mentioned the purpose of the company, the mission of the company, and Simon Sinek talks a lot of the why.
Yes.
How is that related with conscious capitalism?
So it builds upon classic capitalism again. Classic capitalism, as I mentioned, is focused on adding value to the customers and also adding value to the shareholders. And in order to do so, in the long term, companies must be profitable. So conscious businesses have purpose or ambition that goes beyond just making profit. But we cannot forget that you must have profit in order to live into your purpose.
Correct.
At Improving, we are trying to elevate the perception of our profession as a whole. That is our ambition. How do we attract more people into the technology sector? There's almost unlimited demand. Yet there are entire demographic groups that still choose to not come into this profession. And it is one of the greatest ways, I'm sure it's the same here in Mexico as it is in the United States. It's a very high paying profession. And if we want to elevate lives, how do we attract more people into our business and our profession? And improving makes a concerted effort of changing in a positive way this perception of our industry.
Net zero, pollution, environment, how is that also related with conscious capitalism?
Some companies have purpose around this, and those companies will obviously elevate that stakeholder, the environment, higher than others. One of the things that I try to encourage other business professionals to do is not try to be everything to everybody. Every company can't have a social purpose and an environmental purpose, an inclusion purpose, right, industry purpose, especially smaller businesses. But choose something. And sometimes people choose to be active in the environment, some people choose to be active socially, but choose something and become good at that. But I would highly recommend not trying to become everything to everybody.
That's very important. In your life, you have a lot of experience. You're very business savvy. What can you share with the tribe? I call it the tribe of Aldea. Any financial advice, any learning that you have had during your life that you can share with us?
Sure, I'm going to maybe approach this question a few ways, personally first, and then maybe from a business perspective.
Great.
Personally, my recommendation is to be patient. When you're trying financially, a lot of people try to skip certain steps in the process, skipping becoming financially stable, and then they skip to trying to be financially free and doing things because our world and social media, you're always trying to keep up with the people that you aspire to be. But there's a stage in there about saving and making saving a higher priority than maybe a individual luxury at any given time.
Correct.
And so don't try to shortcut the process. Be responsible with your money. Easier said than done when a lot of friends might be traveling or going out every night. But this then bleeds into professionally as well. With the business, which is different than financially than personal, because it relies on leverage often if you're going to grow the business. But we still need to be responsible. And a lot of businesses, I also believe many governments get in trouble when they are not fiscally responsible. That definition changes. So how do we look at what we have coming in? How do we anticipate what's going to go out and don't spend everything all of the time? It's very important. Very important, yeah.
You are very related with technology, software development. How do you see the future in that? People say because of artificial intelligence, there's a lot of risk, a lot of dangers coming, but also a lot of good things for humanity. How do you see that?
I personally believe it's more opportunity than risk. There's always going to be risk in disruptive technologies or disruptive factors within business and society. This is going to be disruptive. Is it going to be disruptive in 6 months, 3 years, 10 years? Yes, somewhere in here. But I think the people that learn to embrace what this has, especially information workers, then they become more productive. And I believe there's almost an insatiable demand for the type of information worker that this will enable.
Right.
So in the long run, I think it elevates more lives. I think in the long run, overall, higher quality jobs, more productive jobs that a lot of people, because they have the assistance of artificial intelligence, would never have had in the first place.
And business are also in that path of adopting new technology.
Correct.
So how important is for a business to be aware of embrace that everything that is happening, and what is the risk if they don't do it?
Oh, the risk is being left behind. And I absolutely, right now, even within our company, we are searching for ways where individuals doing their individual jobs can use artificial intelligence to assist. But how does the organization do that as well? At a team level and at the corporate level.
Correct.
This will exist throughout the business. I believe it's a huge risk not to embrace this. And in 3 years from now, if you're not well along the path, organizations and companies will most likely be left behind.
That's very important. Companies have to keep on going, keep updating themselves.
Sure, you look at companies like Borders Books. I'm not sure if you're familiar. You have that was a bricks and mortar company. They refused to adapt. Or you look at Blockbuster, the video.
Yes.
And instead, Netflix adapted.
Yes.
And Blockbuster didn't. One's around, one's
the
not.
other no.
And that's what we're going to see here. Companies will need to adapt, or you will find other companies. That's what I'll say. Other companies will adapt and take this on.
Perfect. And that's very important because here in Mexico, traditional business, for them it's hard to have new technology because the founder traditionally is a person who started the business in a very basic way. So it's hard for them to update and to adopt new technologies. What can you say for someone that is watching us and is saying, hey, my business has worked this way for forever. I think it will work in the future also. Technology will change, but not my business.
I think it will be changing business, first of all. So that's a lot of the people I'm talking to right now in this. But let's take agriculture. A lot of agriculture sometimes has been resistant to technology. There's great opportunity here in small ways. And I think that businesses can invest a little bit and get tremendous results. So if you are resistant, if you are a little afraid, try something small.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. And if you're innovators, I would say those are some of the industries that are most ripe to be taken over. The ones that are resistant, because once you find your way in, they haven't been, technology has not been pervasive inside those. Legal is another area I find way behind the technology curve when you compare them to other industries. Yes. So there's lots of opportunities where people are resistant. You're just going to have a harder time getting in.
You've been doing for years business with Mexico.
Yes.
How do you see Mexico in the future?
I see it growing and getting stronger. It's been a significant part of our business. We first merged with a company that was in Guadalajara and Aguascalientes about 3 years ago. And that business has grown organically by more than 2.5 times in just that short period of time. And I do believe that North America is coming together a little bit more, and that's one of the strategies we are banking on. So we have 4 Canadian offices, 2 Mexico offices. We have 8 offices in the United States, but it is both the continent and then the power of each of the individual economies and business environments.
Do you like to read?
Love reading. I'm just very slow at it.
Do you have any book suggestion, some book that has make an impact in your life that you can share with us?
I'm going to share a book that we encourage everybody at Improving to read. It's called The Speed of Trust.
The Speed of Trust.
Yes, and it's written by Stephen Covey. It is a book that we have taken the practices out of and tried to make it pervasive in our company. It talks about 4 cores of trust. It talks about 13 behaviors. Okay. What I love about this book is it can apply to anywhere in your life that you have a relationship. Oh. So even though we teach it in the business environment, and every week we have groups of people come together to discuss these cores and these behaviors of trust, maybe the biggest impact is when you take it back into your home life or your personal relationships, because trust really changes everything that from a relationship perspective. And
That's
sometimes
right.
you even break trust. And this in the book talks about how do you regain it once you've broken it, most often unintentionally.
That's a great book, and I'm sure everyone will like to read it. I haven't read it, so I will buy it and read it. And you say that you encourage your team in order to read this book.
Yes.
How do you keep your team focused, your team is on track, motivated? How do you do that in your company?
Okay, one, I have a philosophy of trying to inspire people more than require people to do things. So from the speed of trust and what we call our trust initiative inside of Improvement, we invite people to participate. 70% of our 1,500 employees actually work on this every week, 30 minutes. And so when you try to inspire people, they get to choose. They get to choose to participate or not. And there is pressure. I get there is pressure because 70% of our employees are doing it,
Correct.
right? While 30 are not. But that's a good pressure.
Yes,
So
positive pressure.
allow people to choose, but also apply some social pressure to do something that's good. That's the thing. There's no harm in this. It's only good.
That is correct. Curtis, thank you so much for being here in Aldea Financiera. It was great having you in the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Very honored and humbled to be here. And thank you. Hope we cross again.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Y muchas gracias a todos ustedes. Llegamos al final del programa. Estamos muy contentos porque estamos aquí desde el Secrets transmitiendo en la convención de Canieti. Por favor, díganos sus comentarios, denle like, suscríbanse al canal de YouTube y nos vemos pronto. Ya saben, me despido deseándoles que tengan un día, sí, con tendencia positiva. Hasta la próxima.